So to tell everybody where we're at, I showed up late for our first recording. For actually, I'll go ahead and tell people this, Bobbi. Yesterday was the first day that I'm in one place. I felt really good. My son is here with us, and he and I were having a great conversation. So we opened up a bottle of wine while we were making dinner together, and we commenced drinking last night. And then it became Thursday happy hour. And so Cheryl and Nick and I just had a great dinner, and then we watched this cool show called Ted Lasso. By the way, Neil would love Ted Lasso. It's a half-hour comedy.
Ted Lasso. What is it on?
Apple TV.
Neil is my husband, for those of you that are new.
Yes.
Apple TV. We got that. We have everything. What am I saying?
I got to tell you,
we have everything.
It is a half-hour long, Bobbi. You'll love it. Jason Sudeikis is the main character, so it's funny,
I like
and
him.
Heartwarming. By the way, and here's how good this is. It isn't just me. I had tons of friends and listeners that told me, because I do the movie review stuff on Stacking Benjamins and TV show reviews, and so I had tons of people tell me I had to watch Ted Lasso, and I'm like, I don't know. It looks okay. I like Jason Sudeikis, but I don't know. I found out after I finally watched it, and I just fell in love. It is so damn good that they're just starting to record season 2, and literally yesterday, even before they started season 2, Apple TV gave them season 3. And the reason is the word of mouth on this. It is the #1 show for them, not just for it's the #1 show, not just for the US, but also for across the country, across the world. It's the #1 show for Apple in the UK, in Germany, in France, in Japan, I think. It's just good TV.
Wait, so what's the basic premise?
So this guy who knows nothing about soccer or football, he coached Wichita State, supposedly. Jason Sudeikis coached Wichita State American football, gets hired by this Premier League team, this British Premier League team, to come over and coach their team. So he's in one of the top leagues in the world as a coach, and knows zip about soccer, knows nothing about soccer. And of course, the press gives him a hard time. The fans hate him. It turns out that there's a little bit of a major league thing going on. Did you ever watch the movie Major League, where the owner of the team is trying?
Joe.
The owner, it's hilarious. You'd love this too. It's very funny. The thing, yeah. Mike, I don't know when I do movie reviews. So what am I? I don't do movie reviews. I've never done a movie review. That's a Stacking Benjamins joke right there. But anyway, Ron wants the ears back on. So.
Oh, it's not the Halloween show, but since you asked, I will put the ears back on. They were on, for those of you just joining us, we did a Halloween show earlier today. So I was wearing my stepdaughter's, glittery ears. So I will put them back on just for you, Ron.
I thought you wanted me to have the ears on, but whatever, Ron. Fine. Bobbi gets all the love. But anyway, fantastic show. I watched that, and I watched Emily in Paris. Emily in Paris same thing.
I like that too.
Did you like Emily in Paris?
I loved it. And Neil pretended he didn't like it. He's in the other room, so he could be watching though. That's the thing. It's like I'm whispering like he can't hear me, but he pretended he was watching it to be nice to me. He's like, "We'll watch your show," and I'd be like, "Oh, we can turn it off." He'd be like, "Well, you can watch a little bit more. You can watch a little more." And
I couldn't
like,
stop.
No. You turn on your science fiction thing. That's fine. I'll watch this another time. No, I want you to be happy, honey. We'll watch Emily in Paris. It's okay. No, I think he loved it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is that I thought it was a car wreck, and it was horrible. And, but I couldn't stop watching. Like I totally couldn't stop watching.
That's what he was saying. He was like, it's very watchable somehow, even though it is, there's so many things you could pick apart with it. It's so cliche and whatever. The other thing that he pretends, he's probably going to see all of this. He may really not like it. I don't know. But we did watch The Bachelorette last night, which I had not watched in a while, but I watched last season's The Bachelor. So now I got back into it. And I have to tell you, it's the best thing to watch when you don't want to watch political stuff. Like there's nothing less important in life than what's going on in these people's lives. Like it's so weird, but yet it's so bad. But yet you're sitting there like, what's going to happen at the rose ceremony? And like, she gave the rose to herself. Like she just like, it was so weird. There's people that watch The Bachelorette know what I'm talking about.
What?
It's a very weird season. Anyway, there's lots of drama. It's the most dramatic season ever of The Bachelorette.
The guy who plays my mom's neighbor, Doug, watches The Bachelor and The Bachelorette with his wife religiously. It's like their date night, watching The Bachelor.
It's a train wreck. It's a train wreck. And it's the funniest thing because it's like this little, like suddenly they're like, we're all here for you, Claire. And I'm like, no, you don't even know this person. You all want to be her husband. Like, really? No. But you just can't stop watching.
I can't do any of those shows. See, Ron just watched Big Brother. I've tried to watch Big Brother, tried to watch I can't watch that. I can't.
Do you know what I want to start watching though? And then we are going to tape the show. I would like to start watching The Amazing Race because I do miss travel. And I think that would be really appreciated because they go to a lot of really great places. And I watched it years ago when it was first on, and I believe it's still on, but there's certainly reruns that I haven't seen. And I think that would be really a great adventure. I think it would be great to watch with my son, like to see all the places because we loved traveling. We went to Iceland, we went to all these other places, and he really has a taste for adventure, and we can't do that right now. So I think it would be really great to do that and kind of make a travel list. Thank you, Ron.
I do like The Amazing Race. That's one that I can watch. I haven't watched it in a long time though. I watched like maybe 3 or 4 seasons. That used to be when my kids were younger, we're at home. That was our kind of family date night to watch The Amazing Race together. We do that. It was a good time. By the way, we applied. They did a family version where it was going to be 4 people. So we made a video, and I need to find that video because it's pretty damn funny.
You auditioned?
Yeah. Well, we sent the video in. You had to send the video in. So you did not
get picked, Joe?
We did not get picked. No, it's their loss. It would have been. It's
totally their loss. You would have been amazing. I think they were afraid that you would have stolen the show and it would have just been the Joe show. You would have overshadowed everybody. So.
Yeah, you see what Ron says? Joe Travel's asking about it. Did I tell you about my trip to Bavaria? Or did I tell you about that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, guys.
We could leave the state. I think I'm trapped in New York State forever now at this point. I was hoping to go to Florida for the winter, but I don't think that's happening. Everything's under quarantine again.
Ready to make a show?
Let's do the show.
All right. This is for Monday, November something or other, for first week of November.
Big news from Washington, D.C., actually not tied to the election. A new bipartisan bill that could have perks for everyone from retirees to student loan borrowers, and maybe you. It is Monday, November 1st. Let's talk money with our friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And coming to you from Texarkana, Texas, where we make the Stacking Benjamin show, I'm Joe Saul-Sehy.
Here on Money with Friends, we talk about the latest personal finance headlines, add in the insights and wisdom of our fantastic cast of thought leaders, and then we mix in questions and comments from you guys, our money friends, and leave you with a take away to make it your own.
Good news, everybody. I just got an email this morning from Sandy at NordPass. Says, just want to let you know we have a special cyber deal available on NordPass. So everything was updated. It's a 70% discount as well as an additional month available until the 1st of December. NordPass.com/MWF to grab that. If you need your password manager, great time to get one. NordPass.com/MWF. We normally, Bobby, don't do politics, but on today's show, there's something making its way through Washington, bipartisan support, and it has to do with your retirement. So let's see which one of our friends is going to help us kick this off, talking about maybe a new retirement law.
So the story comes to us from CNBC by Greg Iacuro. The headline is New Retirement Bill Has Perks for Seniors, Student Loan Borrowers. So basically what it is, Joe, is it's a new bipartisan bill. It's going to raise the age for, this is, and by the way, it's a bill. This is not law yet, just so everyone knows. This is discussing, not actually happening yet. It would raise the age for required minimum distributions from accounts like 401ks and IRAs to 75 from 72. It would also let workers that are repaying student loans they could then still have a 401k match even if they're not actually able to save in their workplace plan. It's called the Securing a Strong Retirement Act of 2020. And as you mentioned, it is bipartisan. It was proposed by Richard Neal, who's a Democrat, and by Kevin Brady, who is a Republican. So that's sort of the headline, and we can get into a little bit more of what's in the bill, but I wanted to throw it to you.
Boy, there's so much to like here if you're somebody saving. Number one, last year they changed the required minimum distribution, the amount that you have to take out of your retirement plans. They changed it from starting at 70 and a half to starting at 72, moving that to 75 for people that are really good savers. That is fantastic. That's going to save those people a lot of money in taxes. So that's a huge tax cut for seniors. But what I like about it most, though, Bobbi, is less the tax cut implication, but it acknowledges something that's been happening, which is that, I have somebody in Cheryl's family who passed away last year at 101 years old. And that's that's somebody who was born 101 years ago. People now being born today, you're looking at longevity statistics showing people living to be 120, 130 years old. So extending these RMDs to later really, I think, is counteracting the fact that there's a good chance a lot of people are going to live longer. So I thought number one, that's good. Another thing that this article doesn't go much into that I really like, we can talk about student loans later, is this idea of opting out of a 401k plan and being immediately invested into a target date fund. That is being expanded if this passes, so that more companies, if you go to work for a company, you will have to opt out of being automatically invested in a target date fund for yourself, which I think you see study after study showing that has been a great thing for savers. People generally do nothing. And when they had to opt into a 401k, they wouldn't do it. But if you have to opt out, it preys on the fact that we're lazy and helps us save more money. I absolutely love it.
Right. So the default is that you're going to be invested and they're going to put you in a target date fund. And that's a really good thing, because especially with young people, they'll often either not sign up because they feel that they have to do other things like pay down student debt first, or they sign up, they take money out of their paycheck, and then it's not necessarily invested. And so it does both of those things, which is also really important. It also gives incentives. These are some of my favorite things. It would give incentives, or allow businesses, I should say, to use financial incentives like gift cards to encourage workers to save in a 401k. I think that's really interesting.
Well, a lot of small companies have this problem where the owner can't put money into it because the program is what's called top heavy, meaning that people that make a lot of money for a company save, but people that are maybe newer workers or don't make as much money don't save at all. And so companies have to get people saving, and companies, sometimes small companies, and I used to go into these companies and talk, they would struggle. They would have me come in and talk about the benefits of a 401k because people would not put money in. So yeah, but being able to use an incentive to help people do it.
Yeah.
It's
The
really
other crazy thing is, a lot of people often they switch jobs and they forget, and people are switching jobs more and more. They actually, believe it or not, they forget about the money. And so part of this bill will have sort of a lost and found system that'll pair workers with a 401k accounts that they might have accidentally forgotten or left behind. And I'm laughing about this, but like, lost money happens.
sure. Yeah,
It happens.
absolutely. I think that's all exciting. What about the student loan part of this? I'm not really sure, and I've tried to read about how that would actually work. So even if you're not contributing because you're paying back your student loans, you'll still get the company match. But are companies required to do that, or is, like, I'm unclear of that part?
I think that's not clear yet, but the idea being that maybe they found that the most common reason people were not able to contribute was that they had to meet these student loan debt obligations, and maybe they would say, okay, the company still will give you the match.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it's required or not is not clear, but maybe that would be it would have to be a requirement, because otherwise, why would companies do it?
yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I don't know if I like that or not. I mean, I haven't really thought through whether. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that paying off your student loans is an important thing, but I also like having to have a little skin in the game, having to save a little bit yourself for retirement to get that match. I like that as a carrot, but because, well, and here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the student loans get repaid and you haven't already built that muscle of saving for retirement. You may say, you know what, I'm going to take a few months off before I start doing this. But human behavior is we may not save after that. I don't know.
Well, maybe there's a requirement that you do that. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
there's a way to work around that, because I think that is a valid concern. And that could get into a whole big picture discussion about the whole movement from pensions to, defined benefit plans, where you get the benefit just for basically being an employee, versus now we're sort of on our own and have to fund it, and it's contribution based. And that has overall not been that successful, I think. So I don't know whether the old system was better for more people or not. Another thing is that if you have a 401k or IRA that's less than $100,000, you would not have to take distributions, which is good, because I think that for many people is not that much money. I mean, everyone has different parameters and different means, but I think that, $100,000 saved for retirement is not as much as it sounds like.
No, just being able to hold on to that nest egg, I think is a great thing. I also like another piece of this: catch-up contributions expanded, so that people over age 60 can possibly contribute more. Obviously, guys, these rules are going to go through a lot of changes, and they'll be massaged, and pieces will happen, pieces won't happen. Maybe the whole thing doesn't happen. But right now, Bobbi, the reason you and I are talking about this is, according to most sources, this looks like we might have some new rules coming, because so many people realize there's a problem saving, and we want to give people more ability to save.
Yeah. And I think the other overarching theme of this is it's acknowledging, as you mentioned earlier, that people are living longer and working longer. So, it used to be people were sort of winding down their careers between 60 and 65. There's a reason they're having catch-up contributions at 60 and allowing longer times for the money to stay fully invested, not having RMDs till 75. It's because this is, our careers are being expanded. The time that we need to work to fund our retirement, which is now much longer than originally envisioned, is much more. I mean, people would retire at 60 to 65, and they maybe had 5 to 10 years to pay for. And now look, 101 years old. That's a lot of years to fund. Yeah. And very often it's comparable. You're talking about 30 years. If you retire at 70, that just was not part of the original math.
Right. Almost a third of your life versus people living 2 or 3 years into retirement, people living 30 years into retirement. It's a long, long time. In just a second, Bobbi and I will have our takeaways from today's show. But first, as I mentioned earlier, NordPass with a huge deal. But what is NordPass all about? NordPass is a password manager. We lock the passwords. You hold the key. You store passwords in a single place and log into your favorite websites and apps with a single click. With NordPass, access your login credentials on any device, even when you're offline. You can safely share certain passwords with people that need to know just those passwords. And when you give them the keys to one password, you're not giving them the keys to everything. Most people, even if they've come up with a good password, they use it in multiple places, because how can you remember all these different places? Well, with NordPass, you'll have different passwords all the time, and you can share them specifically with only those people that need to know and give them that one password, not all of them. Big deal on NordPass right now till December 1st, a 70% discount, as well as an additional month available. Check it out here, nordpass.com/MWF. That's nordpass.com/MWF. And by the way, thanks to Sandy from NordPass. Emailed me this morning with that. That's hot. That is hot. Off the press. Go get it. That could be a good holiday present for somebody. Password management. Happy password management. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people are in denial. Of course, as we know, was hacked. So I'm not in denial anymore.
No, it can be ugly. What is your takeaway from this piece?
I give it a thumbs up. Look, this creates more choices for people. And again, it's not law. This is just, a bill. Let's see what happens. From what I see so far, I personally don't see any real downsides. I mean, remember, an RMD is a requirement. You can still get to the money. It's not like you can't have it if you need it or want it. It's just not going to be required. I just hope that it gets enough publicity that if it does pass, people are actually aware of the changes, because I think the financial education is an important component of this, just to know that.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Bobbi. I think that anything that encourages people to save, these opt-out rules versus opt-in, I mean, that's going to create more savers. I like the creativity of the financial incentives, big gift cards to we don't know why people save. Different people save for different reasons. And if a Target gift card helps you save, then goodness, let's do it. On the other side, letting people hold on to their money longer. I know that in financial planning circles, Bobbi, the one thing financial planners talk about a lot that the major media doesn't talk about much is this longevity risk that you and I talked about today. It is a huge problem that financial planners are very worried about it. And the fact that with more expanded catch-up contributions, holding onto that RMD money, that last $100,000, and helping people find money that might have been lost because we have more jobs than ever before, right? People move from place to place more often. Love it. I hope it passes. And if it does, obviously we've got another headline coming.
Very well said.
How do people help us make this show?
Be part of the show. First of all, be part of our live audience. You can do so. I think the best place is to watch us on YouTube. Go to YouTube and look for Money with Friends, and make sure you sign up first subscribe and then sign up for the alerts so you know when we are recording. You can also find out in advance when we're recording by going to moneywithfriendspodcast.com and looking at the schedule to see our recording schedule. You can also see what recordings, what shows are coming up in terms of what's being released and the links to the stories that we discuss. And of course, make sure you're part of our Instagram party, because we do lots of questions and polls and updates on the show on Instagram, which is at Money Friends Pod. Also on Twitter at Money Friends Pod.
Big thanks to everybody, by the way, who's written us and has left a review about some of the changes we made on the show. I think people really like the Saturday recap show now. That's a change to our format. Coming soon, we're going to have videos. We already have videos, but the videos are going to be edited down, and you could be able to watch those in 15-minute chunks as well. And we have some of them already edited over at youtube.com/Money with Friends. So, but our YouTube channel, Bobbi, getting moving on YouTube. So if you know somebody that needs to be more up on money, wants to have some fun little chats, thanks for telling them about the show. All right. She's Bobbi. I'm Joe. She'll be back here tomorrow with Grant Sabatier, the amazing Grant Sabatier, back here tomorrow. Bye-bye. 14 minutes.
Oh, that was good.
We are stuck the landing. Even the East German judge thought we were awesome.
Well, the weekend show was very long today because we couldn't remember Quibi, which actually it almost sounds, it was not on purpose, everyone, but like it almost sounds like we could claim it as being on purpose because it was so forgettable that it was like a shtick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. It was that forgettable that like we couldn't even remember having done a show about Quibi.
It was so appropriate.
That's the irony of it.
It was so appropriate. By the way, Tyson. It was
very appropriate.
The reason why, and I didn't see your comment as we were finishing up, but the reason they don't get rid of RMDs is because that's a ton of tax money. I mean, think of all this money that's never been taxed. So
that's the government reason for RMDs, right?
Yeah, the government completely getting rid of that, where if you don't put money inside these tax shelters, they don't get it at all. I mean, really the idea of getting rid of RMDs is the Roth. So if you don't like RMDs, you got to do the Roth, where you just pay the tax up front. So pay it now or pay it later. And as you know, I like both. I don't like one or the other. These arguments people have, should you put your money in a Roth? Well, but not everyone can do a Roth. Yeah.
Roths do have limitations.
Yeah, to whatever degree you're able to do it, that's great. So, good stuff. All right. Gosh, I didn't know what the hell that's all about. All right.
All right.
Good stuff.
Bye, everyone.
Guys. See you later.